Breaking news that will shock you to your core. Tech billionaire Elon Musk just got frozen out of Trump's Silicon Valley dinner party, and a Romanian migrant just stood trial in Germany for the most disturbing violent act you can imagine. I'm Andrew Meet Rich, former analyst for a state-run media outlet, now telling you the truth they don't want you to hear. And what I discovered about both stories will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about power, politics, and justice. Here's where it gets even worse. While the world's richest man sits outside looking in, tech CEOs are inside making deals worth hundreds of billions. Meanwhile, in Germany, a young woman fights for justice against a predator who crossed borders with criminal intent. You won't believe this. Both stories reveal the same disturbing pattern of how power really works. So hit that like button right now, subscribe for more truth-telling, and consider supporting this independent journalism because tomorrow the news could change everything. Comment below with your thoughts. This community matters more than you know. Let me tell you exactly what happened at Trump's tech dinner Thursday night. Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, Bill Gates, all the Silicon Valley elite gathered at the White House State Dining Room. They're announcing investments worth hundreds of billions in American infrastructure. Sounds great, right? But one name was notably absent from the guest list. Elon Musk, once Trump's closest ally, his first buddy, wasn't there. Just imagine that for a second. The man who spent over $250 million to get Trump elected, who ran the Department of Government Efficiency, completely shut out. Musk posted on X that he was invited but couldn't attend, sending a representative instead. You see the pattern, right? Here's what's really happening. This dinner wasn't about technology or innovation. It was about showing who's in and who's out. These tech leaders are making calculated moves to stay in Trump's good graces while distancing themselves from anyone who dares challenge the president. And now listen carefully. The reason for Musk's exile goes deeper than most people realize. The real story behind Musk's exclusion is a political betrayal that would make Shakespeare proud. Earlier this year, Musk went to war against Trump's signature Big Beautiful Bill, calling it a disgusting abomination that would bankrupt America. Can you believe the irony? The man who helped put Trump in office became his biggest critic over a $5 trillion debt increase. Musk didn't just oppose the bill quietly, he called it debt slavery and vowed to primary any Republican who supported it. He even floated starting a new political party. Trump hit back hard, saying Musk lost his mind and got off the reservation. What do you think? Comment below. Just imagine that for a second. The world's richest man, who revolutionized electric vehicles and space travel, reduced to political exile because he dared speak truth about fiscal responsibility. Meanwhile, other tech leaders sat at Trump's table, praising his leadership while billions flow into their companies. You won't believe this, but if you think this power struggle is shocking, wait until you hear what's happening in Germany's courtrooms. Friends, you're here because you think critically. You don't fall for the sweet fairy tales that most people are fed every single day. You're not looking for excuses, you're looking for real answers. And that's exactly why this channel exists, for people like you who want clarity instead of confusion, truth instead of convenient slogans. That's why I want you to subscribe right now, because the content ahead will go even deeper. More news that matters, more insights that open your eyes, and more practical ideas that help you see the bigger picture. When the world is drowning in noise and manipulation, your critical mind becomes your best defense, and this channel is here to sharpen it every single day. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay with us. Together, we're not just watching events unfold, we're building a stronger community that refuses to be silenced, that questions, that challenges, and that shapes reality instead of just adapting to it. Now let me tell you about a court case in Germany that many observers are following with close attention. A young man from Romania, identified as Nikolai C., has finally appeared before a judge in Bad Soden-Salmünster. The incident in question took place 2 years ago, only a few days after his arrival in Germany, and is now being carefully reviewed by the court. According to the case files, the man approached a young woman who was riding a horse. He allegedly tried to pull her down and behaved in a way that led to serious accusations. The woman resisted, managed to get away, and reported the incident to the police. Officers later detained the suspect hiding in a nearby area. What makes this case especially important is not only the personal tragedy, but also the wider discussion it sparks. Official reports in Germany and across Europe show that crimes involving migrants, although committed by a minority, often receive increased media coverage and raise difficult questions about integration, security, and prevention. Between 2015 and 2023, internal statistics discussed in the German press suggested that individuals applying for asylum were suspected in a notable share of such cases. While they make up a small percentage of the overall population, their involvement in crime statistics has become part of a heated public debate. The current trial is being held behind closed doors in order to protect the identity of the victim, which is standard practice in sensitive cases. Still, many are watching closely because the outcome will likely influence broader political conversations in Germany and at the European level. It highlights once again how individual crimes can become symbols of much larger societal challenges. This case exposes the systemic failure of European immigration policies that prioritize political correctness over public safety. Nikolai C. faces charges for sexual violence and bodily harm, but his story represents thousands of similar cases across Germany. Just imagine that for a second. German swimming pools now require extra police presence because sexual assault statistics show 65% of pool-related offenses involve foreign suspects. Women across Germany report feeling increasingly unsafe in public spaces. What used to be isolated incidents have become a disturbing trend that politicians refuse to address honestly. Here's what they won't tell you. Gang-related sexual violence occurs almost twice daily in Germany, with nearly half involving foreign suspects. The 2015 New Year's Eve assaults in Cologne involved over 1,200 women, most attacked by groups of men identified as having North African or Arab backgrounds. And now listen carefully. European leaders created this crisis through open border policies that ignored basic security screening. They prioritized virtue signaling over protecting their own citizens. If you're still with me, hit that like button. It tells me you want the truth, not just the headlines. Both stories reveal the same disturbing truth about how power operates in our modern world. Whether it's Silicon Valley elites bowing to political pressure or European politicians ignoring public safety for ideological reasons, ordinary people pay the price for elite failures. You won't believe this. Musk's exile from Trump's inner circle shows how quickly political alliances crumble when money and power are at stake. Meanwhile, Romanian Nicolai's case represents the human cost of failed immigration policies that European leaders still refuse to acknowledge. What do you think? Comment below. These aren't isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a system where truth-telling gets you exiled and where protecting citizens takes a back seat to protecting political narratives. That's why independent voices like this channel matter more than ever. Hit that like button, subscribe for more truth-telling, and consider supporting this work financially because mainstream media won't cover these connections. Comment below with your thoughts. This community is growing stronger every day. The establishment wants us divided and distracted, but together we see through their lies. Stay alert, stay informed, and remember that tomorrow could bring even more shocking revelations.